Hola, ¿cómo están? It is 10:30 on November 12th, 2025. This is Bookmap, Wednesday stream with Options Millionaire. We have a bit of a shaken and bacon session. We have very, very large red candle to start the day off. We have a decent little bounce, not quite 50%, but almost. About 100-pointer plus on NASDAQ. Gold has put on a phenomenal rally to 41.76 after taking out their consolidation zone. NASDAQ cannot put on a formidable secondary bounce here, so the bears are still very much in control. We have 1.2 billion in puts. We have 821 million in calls sold, and we're shaking and baking here. I am currently not looking for a bounce because I don't see it. I'm not in the game of predicting, or I don't have a crystal ball. My name isn't Miss Chloe. Come sit down, man. This is Miss Chloe. Tell me your problems. I'm looking for only the 3 C's. I apologize to the Jamaican people. That was probably a terrible accent. 25,600. We have 32.31 negative CVD on ES. Or I'm sorry, on NASDAQ. The options are still very, very bearish. Very, very bearish. I'm getting y'all a YouTube stream here. Had a negative day yesterday, and I think it was too focused on making up for losses today that I tried to jump on a moving train and got stopped out. Would love to end the day with a green trade back on track. Let me ask y'all a question. When you start the session, whatever, that's going to look differently for every single person. Do you do any mental prep work when starting the session? Not only for just trading, but just for your general day in general, or do you just like bare knuckle, raw, just go after the day? Just wake up and like I'm getting after it. Mental prep work, in my opinion, is incredibly important for the session, especially if you're having a tough time of things. Especially if you're having a losing streak, or you come off on a wrong day, or a particularly frustrating day. I always have a game plan in my head. If I'm having a bad day, like I center myself. Of course, I do my Bible reading. I'm very much a very spiritual person, so I'm always doing a lot of reading. But there's always some introspection here to think, all right, well, I need to get a handle on the session. What am I going to do? So first thing is I want to delete all bias that's associated with the market. I also want to get rid of any frustration carried over from the prior session, because I could feel it. And put together a game plan. I know I had a red day yesterday, but I'm not trying to get anything back. That money's gone. There is no getting it back. There's no such thing as getting money back in the market because it's already gone. All there is the next setup. And I may or may not adhere to that because I'm human. I'm a jabroni just like you all. But that's the plan. Strive for perfection, and you'll get pretty close. I know it sounds corny, but unfortunately it's very, very accurate. 1.4 billion sold calls, 1.6 billion purchase puts. Still coming off. I'm not looking for a bounce here because there's no signs of one. If I see it, we'll play it. What's up, YouTube? How's it going? Would anybody be surprised if we go green? No. And it may do that, but you have to play the signs. You can't front run that. It's 99% mental and 1% technical skill. Absolutely. Gold is relentless, baby. Look at it. Look at it. Would you look at that? NASDAQ is about to whammy this and go lower. ES is about to touch our SR flip. Actually, it almost did. Boom. SR flip gone. NASDAQ is getting crushed. ES is getting crushed. Interesting. $68.63 dropping. NASDAQ dropping. New low of the day. Getting wrecked. No buy the dippy. No buy the dippy. I told y'all I was looking for buy the dip once. If that fails, we go lower. So I'm not. Extremely high volume candle there. Highest volume candle of the day. Highest volume candle of the day right there. Booyah. You're sitting on your hands? That's okay. That's okay. Beautiful green candle so far. Highest volume candle of the day. That is a phenomenal, phenomenal big candle. Y'all know the deal here. Things go dump, stop people out. Let's see if this is the candle. The short of dreams, dude. Beautiful. Nicely done, 2-dub. Nicely done. Done for the week. I don't want to hear any more negative, self-negative talk because that was a great trade. You're doing really well. So, kill it. You're doing great. Good job. 561 on NASDAQ. What's up, Dan? How you doing, buddy? And Steven, welcome. English-speaking community. Yeah, apologies. I'm a quarter Puerto Rican. I got to throw it a little Espanol. I'm also a quarter German too, but I only know how to count to 10 in Germany. In German. What's up, X Market? How you doing? Still going after a high volume bounce. That was a textbook liquidity sweep. Large aggressive move down on the highest volume candle, and now they're putting on a 3C bounce. That is a 3C high volume bottom wick if I've ever seen one. A couple of ways to go about doing this depending on where this candle closes if you're looking for a long position. If this candle closes here, we're going to look for roughly 592. If not, then I would probably anticipate 622 or so. 622. That's a very early entry. Frumple's playing the 1C. The 1C. Remember, process. Beautiful bounce, high volume. ES3C. They have it. Yep, ES has got it. NASDAQ is about to have it. I don't need the 55-minute. I need the 5-minute. NASDAQ has a little bit of liquidity up to 700 and then 615. ES just got through 68.68. SR flip. Be patient. Trying to buy the dip ahead of a major downside is not smart if you're early. Be smart. Yes, test of Vrasky's range. I like it. Yep, it's low, morning low. This red candle's the morning low. It's testing that. NASDAQ is bouncing off of it. Who's got the oil short? Yeah. I'm looking for trade number 2 today. If there's there to get it. My price target hit on all 3 trades. Nice tiller. I like it. Congratulations. Well done. Great trading. Appreciate you being here. There's very little liquidity on the old Bookmap. We have 6830 as the main level on ES. NASDAQ has 612 and then 700, but it's still on a downtrend, technical downtrend. I'm sure some of you jabronis have already plotted this cat. Gold's just flying, baby. Flying. Still trying to short 92. Still can't hold it yet. Still can't hold it. I'm going to be patient, waiting for higher highs if you're looking for a bounce. If they're going to bounce it, that's exactly how they would set it up. Quick move down, aggressive high volume bounce back up to stop out, liquidity sweep, hold the highs, and then off we go. First target will be 660 if they bounce it. If not, it's going to be spicy. Going to be spicy. I have 94 as a main macro on gold. Biggest rejection that took us up to all sides. 79. Nice. I like it. I'm so happy I trusted this system. Nice. Congratulations. That's good stuff. Good stuff. Back testing is fantastic. This just happened in front of us. Look down at my laptop and back up and boom. Oh, that's terrible. Hope everybody was okay. There we go, 593. 3C has set it up in the meta. We have the volume in the wick. 15-minute. Some liquidity here at 600 on NASDAQ. They're still not buying back any puts or sell or buying back any calls. They're still just kind of chilling. I'd like 3C long and shorts on ES for SPY, SPX options and futures. Prefer futures for gold. Nice. That's a good setup. Things are still on a very obvious downtrend, and it can't hold any higher highs here. Cannot hold any higher highs. There's an obvious resistance at 612 and change. So this whole thing on NASDAQ is where the liquidity is. So everything right here is where the liquidity is on NASDAQ. It doesn't want to hold above it. It's also the 5-minute volume profile node. Any recommendation for equity I can play for a swing? Gold's in full-on breakout mode here. Other than that, though, I'm in a bit of a waiting period at the moment. Front run in the open. That's all right. Looks like gold's absorbing again. Yeah, the gold's launching. There's very little liquidity shifting on NASDAQ. ES has got 6860, but that's it. In terms of price action here, NASDAQ cannot get over their main liquidity zone. The only thing left to do is test yesterday's lows. When is a reopen supposed to be official? They are voting on it tonight. So we'll know tomorrow what's official and what's not. Still bottom looking. Still coming down. Should you tell me if I let the ghost order 5 minis ride from 4136, I'd have lied by yeah, pretty much. I caught the blast R2 out. I'm chilling, just waiting to see if another setup presents. Oh, you'd be fine. No bounce can manifest right now, and the option chain is not supportive of a bounce. We have put buying, call selling. Now, we could see how quickly that can change. Yesterday, it changed on a dime, and look what happened. Right at 11 o'clock, it freaking launched, and we had yesterday's rally. And it looked as bullish, as bearish as it does now yesterday. So things can change on a dime, but as it stands now, the options volume is very bearish, and the price action cannot get a bid to put over a higher high. So from a price action standpoint here, there's no higher highs, there's no reversal, there's no long trade yet. It's purely just defending under liquidity. Oh my gosh. Until we are macro bearish trend, the SR floats formed on the faster time frame. Defined bounces are harder to play. during significant downtrends, bounces are very difficult to play. But the bounces have been very supportive the past couple of weeks. Now, obviously, that's going to change. But at the moment, not today, of course, but the bounces have been pretty easy to play. I tried VPA, but for some reason ICT stuff is easier for me to visualize. ICT is VPA. It's just repackaged. Uh, 557 and dropping. Very, very bearish move here. Every single move is sold. So you cannot look for a bounce still until you get a higher high, period, on longer time frames. Still going. 2 billion in puts, 1.5 billion calls sold and dropping. There's very little liquidity elsewhere except 68.60, and down we go again. Down we go again, baby. Large red, this is going to plummet everything. Booyah. If they take this out, we'll be looking for the next zone of 483 and dropping all the way down. Right here. Red closed at 83 today for enter comfortably. 2.1 billion puts, 1.6 billion calls sold. No higher highs. Once this top wicks, it should go. Five, 4, 2. VIX is still blasting too, so all signs point to lower. 479 is yesterday's lows. Daily chart is this right here. So smash this candle, we have another top wick. ES as well. The moves are so grand on gold, yet precise. If you're wrong, get out ASAP. No trades right now. I like it. $2.2 billion in puts. It's increasing. ES is grabbing the 68.60 right here. I need to do some work, so I need to step away. It's all right, Proggy. Man, the options chain is heavy. Looking at all this liquidity on ES 68.60, NASDAQ is trying to absorb this lower level at the moment. Let's see, 15-minute. Multiple bottom wicks on the 15-minute right here. Did I take any options trade today? I did not take any options trade today, no. No options trades. Massive recovery on NASDAQ, back up. They're still forming multiple bottom wicks. Right now it's in the grinder. I would not recommend putting on too much on NASDAQ. It's just back and forth. Gold is in breakout mode, full on breakout mode. First day of the week I haven't traded gold, and look what it does. Blast off. Tiller, there was a great book I read a long time ago called The Big Miss by Tiger Woods, and at one point he won one of the major tournaments, one of the PGA championships, and back after they got back, his wife was obviously all excited and partying whatever, and Tiger was just chilling, and she's like, "Why aren't you excited? Why aren't you partying?" And he said, "This is normal for me. This is what I do. Like, I don't need to celebrate things that I do normally, which is win." Massive red all the way back down, back and forth. There's no higher highs. There's no long opportunity whatsoever. It's all major reds all the way down. Where the order sitting on Bookmap right now, 68.60 is the main target, although they just put on 70, but everything is getting crushed. Every single little green candle is getting crushed, so there's no long opportunities here. Nothing. Not until we put in a higher high, period. He did end up partying, though. Yeah, he did end up partying. I think he partied a lot at Subway. Oh my gosh. Taking bets, S2 holds or folds? Folds. Right now it's in the grinder. It's in the grinder. That was a great book, by the way, especially if you're a golf fan. 25,550. Apparently, the last vote to release the Epstein files is submitted today. Interesting. Do not long until we have a higher high. There's no higher high here. Right side of the V is the theme. Right side of the V, baby. Ah. So ICT just posted on his X feed that volume profile has no advantage. How much volume is reported has zero impact on buying and selling. Just to prove that that guy is a continued clown. It's phenomenal this dude has 1 million followers. Phenomenal. $25,552 NASDAQ holding lows, absorption for a lower price. ES is chilling. The 15-minute has continued pressure, but this latest candle here is leaving a lot to be desired. Oh, he's a fantastic marketer, 100%. $1.4 billion. Yep, calls uptick just a touch. The puts are still decreasing though, so they could be. When I see this type of action where there's a small uptick in calls, but the puts are still increasing, that tells me that they could be setting up for a future bounce, but they're not ready yet. So a little bit further down maybe, and then they'll put on a bounce if that trend continues. But right now we're not ready yet. Lower lows on Nasdaq. Meanwhile, he trades off the principles of VPA, fair value gaps, 9 and 10s moving. Yep, 100%. I checked out when he said he created the algos. Love it. VIX is still rocketing too, 1784 and climbing. VIX is now up 3.8%. Gold is still launching. No downside on gold. If you're going to play a short on gold, which do not recommend, long bias only, you have to ensure an incredibly high volume with an associated wick, and then of course a lower close, right side of the V. Until then, gold is going to up and up and up and away. Nasdaq is about to slide lower. I would probably look for yesterday's lows as a bounce, 479. Any upside that we get, you have to pay attention to the morning low. Where are we right now? What are we fighting right now? The morning low on Nasdaq, which is 560. 563. We can't get over it. If you can't accept the morning low, we are still in a technical downtrend. The bears are still in very much control. 2.2 billion in puts and increasing. Sliding lower. Let's see where we can get. And increasing. There we go. Nasdaq sliding. Not much going on here. Not much going on. What do y'all think? Oh man, it's boring now. It's just back and forth. Back and forth. SLV. 2.3 billion in puts, 1.6 billion in calls. They're still piling into puts. So I think we're going to have a flash event here. VIX is still going up. There's still pressure here. There's still pressure here. Still top wicking here. I'm in a gold trade. I have a single short call on MMQ. Nice. White House officials are reportedly furious with Bill Pulte, the Federal Housing Finance Agency Director who talked about the president, into suggesting 50-year mortgage plan. Nice. Everyone's waiting for a sweet tweet or catalyst to push one direction or another except gold. New season of Gold Rush started Friday, so I'm going to top that mountain. I use this time to clean up my charts and get a fresh look at the market. I'm interested. Nice. I use this time to think about what I'm going to have for lunch and the rest of the day because I'm done trading. I don't trade all day. I trade till the morning and I shut it down. Yeah, I hear the servicing bank on those 50-year mortgages is going to be called Aerotine Financial. $2.5 billion in puts, 1.7 billion calls sold. They are piling into puts. Piling into puts. Right here. What do you think? We break low here? It looks like it. Absorption. Strapmine loans, yeah. What's the tilt at? The tilt is 60% short. There we go. 525. 2.7 billion in puts. They are dumping options. Look at this. This is absorption break lower. Failure of higher highs means downward trend. VIX is 18. Still climbing. 514 and dropping. All the way down, baby. All the way down. All the way down. Fantastic. Five, 475 is next liquidity. Price action still says down. Big volume bar in gold. Let's see. Not yet. Not yet. 2.8 billion in puts. 4.7 billion negative net. Liquidity just ate up at 68.60. The CVD is decreasing. So someone asked me the question the other day, how do I translate CVD into information. There's two components of CVD. You've got the absolute value and you've got the subchart graph. Just because the CVD is green doesn't mean it's bullish. What is the graph doing? We're dumping. We've gone from 5,000 CVD green and it's selling off big time down to about 1,600. So the aggregate is diminishing greatly in addition to the put, buy, and call selling. It's phenomenal. So we have a correlated downtrend across all metrics, and then the 3 C's is confirming downward trend. All the way down. All the way down, baby. $500 in breaking. 475 will be target. That's yesterday's recapture. $15 minutes left in the stream, and we'll call it a day. Any questions you have, let me know. I'm beginning to think there's a funding problem lurking that we don't know about. Somebody a couple of weeks ago now said that if you see one cockroach, there's a lot more where that came from. And that has to do with the funding problem we saw back in March. Remember that one of the regional banks went belly up in April or March because they had liquidity issues. And then what did BlackRock do last week? Or no, back in March, BlackRock backed one of the failing regional banks. It's why they didn't join the one that failed. It's because BlackRock bought up their debt. It was like 150 something. It was crazy, like 150 billion or something like that. No, not billion, million. And recently, that bank that they backed went under. So now BlackRock had to eat a $150-60 million hole. And that's just showing the lack of liquidity. That's liquidity is drying up left and right with all the regional banks, and that's going to flow into the larger banks. It's just like 2008. So I don't know who said that. Where there's one cockroach, there's more. That, yeah, 100% is that there's funding problems. There's liquidity problems throughout the country. And we just haven't seen it yet. We just haven't seen it yet. I have to close the Bookmap stream. I'm only allotted an hour, unfortunately. Drilling on NASDAQ. Incredible amount of put buying. I love it. Pop back on. I can do that. I'm gonna have to go grab me a protein bar or something like that. My stomach's growling, but then I'll come back on. Wasn't Dan our HR chat moderator? Did you fire him? Why? What happened? No. Just enter container of yogurt. When you need cash, you sell when you can equities crypto. You got to raise capital. Got to raise capital. Just bounce off 500, which is also the trend line, Kennedy, if you noticed. Freaking trend lines. Stupid trend lines. Need a squat. Heck yeah, man. Sorry to someone doored up line. Did he say that, Peter? Oh, thanks, Peter. Do they deliver DoorDash by dog sled? Actually, yes, I have gotten DoorDash by dog sled before. Mount me? $2.9 billion inputs. Trend lines work really well in low volume gold nights. Where do I ever break out? Yep. Yeah. Pretty interesting. Liquidity up to 60 and 70. Another bounce on NASDAQ. One of these days I'll get me in a second trade. What's up, Lanner? How you doing, buddy? Just make sure you have happiness in the household. Rode that long with you earlier, but couldn't be on the stream. Nice, Lanner. Awesome stuff, buddy. I'm glad it. I don't think too many people took that long. I think they only just shorted the rest of everything else, which is fine. But pretty cool. Here's a question that'll cook your noodle. What happens if the CR does not pass? Frumple, dude, I gotta get you to stop posting news, man. Like, unless it's breaking news, like, we're good. We don't need news. Thank you. If it's breaking news, go nuts. $68.62. So here's what I'm looking for, and you'll hear more about this on the videos I'll be releasing in the coming days. But what I'm really looking forward to, you see they bought back some calls there, but they're not selling back puts. So when I see that put level start to come up here, from an option chain perspective, we'll have the supportive flows if we get them. Other than that, right now, what do we have? Let's go to the 15-minute chart. We have a green candle that's still inside, so nothing crazy to get me chasing longs yet. The 5-minute, we have a higher high. So we do have a qualified 3C setting up here on the 5-minute chart. But do you want to trade the 5-minute on reversal? That's up to you. The 15-minute will get you really good on a move up. What's up, Will? How you doing, buddy? All right. Oh, man. Where do you see your chart? On the Bookmap, on the stream, the Discord, you'll see Bookmap. On the YouTube stream, you'll see my chart and Bookmap together. Natty. What's different in this and CVD? Which one to read? in compared to what? Overall, it's been a very back and forth morning, not counting the first 15 minutes of the day. Hopping off stream, I have a conference call. Nice, noob noob. Seven more minutes, we'll wrap up the stream. Questions, comments, concerns? The bulls could be putting on something here, but it's very slow, and you got to confirm a higher high. Otherwise, just back to the normal stuff. What's up, Dan? What question you got? Oh my gosh. They are still buying puts, 3 billion. There's no slowing down of put activity. Get out of here, Dan. ES levels for Nenchi for a bounce? I don't know. Right now, we had the major SR flip, which already broke. After that, I mean, there could be a number of activity, a number of levels here. From the S&P, on Bookmap, the next leg is 68.30. But on a downward trend like this, you've got to focus on what they're doing with price action. Otherwise, you're just going to get wrecked trying to buy the dip. We don't have any major supports here, like a monthly or weekly low to attack, so we're just kind of out there at the whims of price action. We've already kind of roasted through a couple of liquidity sweeps. Once you get a good 15-minute high-volume bottom wick that shows that the liquidity's hitting, we get the higher highs where the algorithms have shifted, and they start going back to buying calls and selling puts, then we'll buy the dip. There's plenty of upsides to be had if they buy the dip. But now they're still selling off everything. We can't even capture a higher high yet. And my game is that we're still forming the left side of the V. I need the right side of the V. There's two types of CVD. So CVD is broken up into two different components. The CVD absolute value, which is the bottom right, and the subchart, which is this, the graph. The graph tells you the fluctuation, the trend, the skew, whereas this just tells you the overall value. I get more value out of the subchart graph than I do the absolute value because it tells me not only the value, but where it's trending to and from, the quantity. On gold, do you start to get worried when we have those low volume top wicks that seem to be starting to create a ceiling? Well, I mean, on something like gold, I don't like shorting. It's too anything this explosive. Shorting, I hate losing on shorts. I hate it because most of the time I shouldn't be shorting anyway when I lose on a short. So I specifically don't even try to short gold that much because it's just such a blast off move. So if I'm even going to look at the possibility of a downward move on gold, you have to have a strong indication that it's there. Now, the longer it consolidates up in this area, it could be more of a collective volume. It doesn't have to be one momentary volume spike. It could be a collective where you get several medium volume spikes on the 5-minute, and then eventually it just breaks lows. But the overall theme is, can it accept a lower price? That's the whole concept with price action. Can it accept a lower price to begin to formulate a lower inventory capture, which could get, I don't know, 76 and then lower? I don't know. But the theme is, when is the order book going to shift from buying the dip to selling the rip and get you the downside move? When I think about a long green trend like this in my mind, I'm thinking about what's happening behind the scenes, because I don't want to get caught up in the green candles of the visual nature of trading. I want to think about the machine that's just cranking the buy orders, the billions of dollars that's just running through the order book. Do I want to step in front of that? Nope. I want to make sure those billions of dollars have stopped, and now they're going to start pulling money out. And that's the whole concept between right side of the V. And then I'll short, because then I'm on the right side with the market. And that's what the volume tells me to do. I like your style. I like your style too, Peter. Nasdaq's finally taken a way up. 1.7 billion calls sold. All right, y'all. Unfortunately, I got to call that a day. That's the end of the Bookmap stream. It's a 11:30 Eastern. So if you have any questions about anything we talked about today, please throw me a DM, hit me up in the channel, come join the Discord server. Definitely give Bookmap a try if you're looking for a product to give you the order flow, especially in a heat map. Other than that, I'll see y'all bright and early Wednesday morning for the next Bookmap stream, and then tomorrow morning for the next Options Millionaire Discord stream. Until next time, I'm out. See you.